It's Assassin's Creed Revelations, it's Darby McDevitt, thank you for joining us. Assassin's Creed Revelations marks the third entry in Assassin's Creed in 3 years. How's it been for you guys transferring over to a yearly cycle? Is it something you feel that works for the franchise?
We have a large team. We also have a number of studios. Like Assassin's Creed is a franchise that the Ubisoft's been working on for quite a while now, and so each of the studios that work on it are experts in a particular area. So we have, I think we have, Sweden, Annecy in France, Quebec City, Singapore, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out. And so everyone has really come into their own as experts of different systems, different parts of the game, and the team is large and very experienced. And we've fallen into a nice rhythm, and because we know the kind of Assassin's Creed formula that we want to do, what we focus on is slowly perfecting things, perfecting the systems we've got, and we never want to. When you've got a successful game franchise, it's actually a strange thing to tear everything out and start over again. That accomplishes two bad things, which would be to maybe alienate fans who like the old style. And also it takes a time to get a team up to speed with tons of new tools. So what you want to do is you want to evolve, not it was evolution, not revolution. So it's that sort of thing. So we're pretty comfortable now at what we're doing.
I was going to say as well, because from the first game to this one, I think commercially and critically everyone agreed that you have improved and stuff. I think even you guys admitted Assassin's Creed 1 we were kind of finding our way, Assassin's Creed 2 we knocked it out of the park, and now we're iterating and stuff.
Right.
Why do you think that process has gone that way, and what is it that you guys do internally that have got you to a point where you're happy with this formula?
I think actually any game studio that is doing it correctly will always try to build on what they made before. I mean, Assassin's Creed 1 immediately had got a following because of a number of things we did right. We got the character design right, we got the setting right, we got the whole the sort of concept of the game right. And it's true that some people felt that we didn't deliver on every promise the game made. The smart thing for Ubisoft to do would have been say well, let's figure out what works and keep all that, and then keep going and figure out what promises we made, and let's go try to keep them. So sorry, I got lost a little bit in the question.
That's fine. Just in terms of you guys now, you all seem very confident that where Assassin's Creed is where you always wanted it to go. How do you feel like you've got there, and what is it that you've done internally to make sure that you can continue to iterate on the idea?
Well, the main thing is definitely listen to fans and listen to and really investigate what it is that makes people so obsessed with the series. We have incredible fans and an incredible fan base. They're very, very vocal, and it's kind of like a little bit of magic where you don't often hit across a character like Altair, and there's something about him that he's like, what did we do right? And you investigate very, very thoroughly what you did right, and then you just it's all about fans, I think. But we have to also know that I think a lot of fans look at us and say why are they doing X, Y, and Z? It's well, we have a lot of very good reasons internally for doing X, Y, and Z, and so. Yeah, so that's the long answer.
I see where you are.
It is an evolution, though, and we are fortunate enough to have to be able to say we were very successful with the first one, and because of that success, we were able to fix. Because another company might have said whoa, the first one didn't do 99s across the board, so let's just get rid of it. Well, that's almost always the wrong idea. Even if you're a company that comes out with a game that's maybe a 65, but it's got something that people like, it's probably a better idea to iterate on that idea even, and to a point where you can fulfill on the promises rather than say dump it, start again, because then starting again you have all the same risks.
And did the success of Brotherhood surprise you as well, considering you didn't whack a big 3 on it?
I don't think it surprised us. I was not actually at the company. I was working as a contract on some of the side franchise stuff, so I can't say the mood. But I don't think people were surprised because we all knew, or let's say they weren't surprised that it was a good game, because they all knew that Assassin's Creed 2 had all these systems, and they even had more ideas, like the Borgia Towers, were quite popular with people in Brotherhood, and that came out of, that evolved from Assassin's Creed 2, where you have little assassination contracts and things. And there's like, well, let's put some meat behind those assassination contracts. Let's say you're killing a guy for control of an area, things like that. So I don't think they were surprised that it was a successful game critically, and they're all delighted that it was also, successful with the fans. So.
And moving on to Revelations as well, what are you doing now that you weren't able to do before? What have you learned from Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood you now think we can now put this into Revelations?
Well, one of the things that our creative director has been very adamant about was taking all the systems that we have. Our three pillars of our game are navigation, combat, and stealth, and the stealth assassinations and things like that. And our creative director, what he wanted to do was find a way to integrate them all into a bigger system so that you could sort of effortlessly flip from one to the next. And that was one of the goals of the game. So with the introduction of the hook blade, you can go from a new kind of navigation across zip lines, right, directly into assassination. You can use the hook blade in weird combat situations, like almost these judo moves where you're running towards a guy, you do a backflip. You can either engage him in a battle or you can run right past him. And then with our bomb crafting system, which has bombs that you can be tactical with, stealthy with, be straight up, offensive with. That's another way of saying, here's our system, but it can do multiple things. So I think that it was the integration aspect of Revelations that was one of the big goals. And then, of course, the new setting, getting out of Italy, we felt like, sometimes we were like, people often would say, well, like, I want a new ancestor. But we felt like if we could get a new setting and a really new costume with an entirely new cast of characters, except Ezio. Ezio is really the only guy who holds over. We thought like that we still have some story we want to tell with him. So how do we make fans still excited about it? And that's how we do it. We send him to a new place. We give him an amazing new outfit, and we hope that. The personality of Ezio is still, enjoyed by a lot of people. One of the things that's really funny is Assassin's Creed has kind of almost set up such a big expectation. It's almost like a Doctor Who in a way, where you get to replace the Doctor every so often, and Assassin's Creed has that situation where you can replace an ancestor every so often, and people are looking forward to that. But what we are really proud of, and what I think fans will appreciate, especially after this game, is that we're one of the only game franchises that ages their characters, and it will tell a full life story. So 3 games with Ezio, there's a certain Italian plumber who's been around for a lot of games, and I've never seen any gray in his mustache. So.
That'd be weird though, right? If Mario aged.
Maybe. But so we're actually doing something very interesting. We got a 3rd game with Ezio, and Altair will be appearing in it as well. And we're actually, you saw Ezio born in the first one, and you see him 52 in this game, and then there's a short film, Embers, coming out in which he's about 64. And that's pretty unprecedented for a game as big as this franchise is, to really go there, deal with aging, deal with family matters and things like that. I can't think of any major franchise that does that, and we're really happy to do that. And a big reason you can do that as well is obviously because of the Amunis and the storyline there, because obviously you go through Desmond's memories and his ancestors and stuff. A lot of people kind of get confused maybe with the story, because it is quite complicated. Is that something you feel is a fair point, and is that something you're trying to work on with Revelations to make it a bit more streamlined, a bit more accessible? Sorry. Go back on that.
So just with the story with the Amunis, the way that sometimes it gets quite complicated because you have a lot of sort of subplots and.
Well, one of the goals with this game is we realize that the story is getting incredibly complicated. We have a through line with Desmond, and we've thrown in all these side stories with these characters and the comic books and things. And we felt like with this game, we want to be mindful that we don't want to fray too much. We don't want to. So that by the time, if we ever get to the 10th game or something, that we've only opened up paths and never closed them down, and that would be very difficult for whatever writer was working on it at that point. So, the Animus allows us a lot of possibilities, but it can also, we could get extravagant with it, and we want to make sure we don't, lose people. We want to keep people with us.
And finally, before we let you go, in a dream world, so I'm not saying you're definitely going to do this, if you could take a main Assassin's Creed character to any setting, where would it be?
We get asked this question a lot, and all I really ever say is there's so many people on the teams that have their own idea of where they'd love to go. They love to use their own, I think, personal loves and expertise. And I'll only say that I have a master's degree in Irish literature, so I would love to be able to put that to use one day, but that's not how we make these decisions. So
London could use an Ezio right now, so you never know.
Right now?
Oh, yeah.
You mean, yeah, you know, who knows? It's you know, we can't say anything about that. That's decided. That's above my pay grade, as they say.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Take care.